Um, to kind of illustrate this in a much more productive way, uh, I think about core and supporting value streams. So you'll have a core stream, which is something that you have an external customer purchasing the outcome from. So whatever comes out of that core stream is really what keeps your business afloat and is the reason why you're in business. And then you have supporting streams, which can be things like your security auditing process, or um, the process that develops your design systems. There's any number of things. Hiring is a classic value stream. Onboarding new employees, onboarding new customers is also a distinct value stream that you can measure and visualize. And this helps because it helps you understand these processes, which are typically really difficult to understand unless you work in them constantly. And if you work in a value stream, it's very difficult to understand because you understand your piece of the value stream, not necessarily the entire end-to-end flow. And it's important to understand the entire end-to-end flow because that's how you find the biggest opportunities to improve. And I'll get into how that's done. So when we think about mapping a value stream, the first thing to consider after you've identified a value stream to map is who should be a part of mapping, right? Who's going to do the mapping and who needs to be involved? So you definitely want a facilitator. And this doesn't have to be me or somebody that you hire to do value stream mapping, although value stream mapping is not a simple exercise. Sorry, I could say that it's simple, but it's not easy, and it does help to have a lot of experience. But if you have someone with facilitation experience, if you have somebody on your team who is very comfortable running workshops, they might be really good at facilitating value stream mapping. So you probably have somebody in your organization right now who would be good at facilitating value stream mapping, as long as they familiarize themselves with the process and they know how to run the steps of that flow. But then you want I say executor here. What I really mean is like someone who can make decisions, somebody who can say that we're going to do this, first of all, and make time for it and get all the people involved together. But also you want somebody involved who can say, we are going to change what we're doing based on the results of this exercise. Because if you map a value stream and you don't have anybody who can actually allow for change or enable the change or authorize a change to the process, then you've really just pointed out a problem with no possibility of a solution. Right? That's kind of a bummer. So you want someone who can actually say, we're going to do things differently based on what we've discovered in the value stream map. And you have my support to do that. So that's really important. I just noticed that the question in the chat about the name of the book is The Great Transition. By James Martin. It's an excellent book, and it's really about, it's a big picture book about how organizations run and how they should run, and I do recommend it to everybody. But so back to who's involved in the value stream mapping is you want representation from across the value stream, and I mean across the value stream meaning representation from each distinct area of activity. So you might have someone who who understands planning because they work in the planning function. Maybe they're a product owner. Somebody who works in the design stages of the value stream, development, QA, security. Sometimes you'll have someone, if let's say you're going into a mapping exercise and everyone's been complaining about the legal review process. You probably should have somebody from legal in the mapping process, so that you get their perspective. You're going to want information from them. You're going to want to understand, why does it take so long to do this? You're not going to ask them that question directly, but you are going to find out by including them in the mapping process. So it's important to have folks who are involved in the value stream involved in the mapping practice. And that doesn't mean you need everybody, but you need representation. So what I'll usually look for is someone who's not too junior, not too senior, right? If you have someone who's been doing the job for so long that they're actually used to how things go, and they don't really understand where the friction is because they're so used to it, or they have a simplified version of what's happening. Thanks, David. That's great. They have a simplified version in their head because they remember how things used to run like 18 years ago, and their understanding hasn't been updated since. That's not very valuable. Also, you don't want someone who just joined 3 days ago because they don't understand the process. They don't even know what they're doing yet, likely. But sometimes if you have space to include more people, it's great. You don't really want more than 12 people in a value stream mapping exercise because it's just too many voices, too many participants, and it can be difficult to manage. Something between 5 and 8 people is fantastic. It runs very smoothly. People get a chance to speak. You don't have people interrupting or worried about interrupting others. So 5 to 8 people representing various stages of the value stream is really ideal. I'm going to pause for a second just in case anybody has questions.